and eXp commercial, but I'd love to just recap what happened. 2022, we were so optimistic, kind of getting out of COVID lockdown, getting back into business. Then we saw the war happening in Ukraine, and then things were changing with the higher inflation, asset price adjustments. With that, we saw heated inflation with the CPI index. With that, we know that we had to tame it, and then we started to increase the interest rates, right? Really mid-year, with the interest rates going higher and higher, we had to make those pivots and adjustments. And I know so many of us were just excited to get 2022 behind us, but now we're launching 2023. Here to help us launch this year is our CEO founder, Glenn Sanford, who started eXp World Holding and back in charge of eXp Realty. We are so happy to have you here, Glenn, and to really share it. And congratulations on being Swan Pool 2000, but being recognized for everything you built, and with the changes in the market, you're no stranger to a shift and a change in the market, because I think eXp was built on that.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jim, and great to be on here with you guys here this morning. The cool thing about a changing market is, for those who are determined, this is the market you pick up market share. For those who are just passively, casually involved in the real estate industry, this is going to be a tough market for you. And so, for me, January, I guess it was January 3rd, I came back to CEO of eXp Realty, so all of Realty, and one of the things I'm excited about is really helping agents who are determined win, and that means really shoulder to shoulder. We're in it together. And by the way, I know this is an eXp commercial explained, but one of the things that you'll learn about eXp as a company and the people that are involved in it is that even if you're not here, we still actually want you to win. It's kind of funny. We actually want you to win even if you're not here. We just think that you'll win more here. And those are the tool sets, and those are the things that we're doing to actually give you the opportunity to win more. We're reinventing, and we've reinvented the residential real estate brokerage model. And it's fundamentally changed on the residential space going forward. It's going to be really hard for a new company to launch a legacy brand. A legacy brand being a standard franchise, bricks and mortar based operation with franchise fee going off to a parent company and somebody launching a local office. Now, this doesn't mean that some people won't, and some people might not be somewhat successful. But when we retooled the entire compensation model to make our agents truly shareholder partners and to participate in the growth of the business, it changed the game. And of course, what was it, 3-4 years ago when you and I got together, Jim?
That's it. Yes.
Yeah. So when we got together, we said we want to do the exact same thing in the commercial space. And all of those things that people say, well, you need this and you need that, you need this, you need that. We actually challenge those assumptions. Do you need a physical office in order to do commercial? Now, some of you have have offices, licensed branch offices. We do have a licensing program for those who want to have offices. But we've got so many top commercial agents, certainly residential agents, who have actually figured out that they didn't need the office. Now, COVID helped us. The silver lining of COVID is it proved to a lot of people that you didn't need an office. And a lot of companies that don't have that, we'll call it remote first part of their organization, meaning build everything so it can be built, via the cloud and network via the cloud and communicate. I mean, we're right now on Zoom. Zoom is, for all intents and purposes, the new boardroom. The new boardroom is Zoom. I mean, in COVID, how many commercial transactions got closed without bringing people to a closing room? And as a result, you didn't have to have your army of attorneys, and you didn't have to have your army of different folks to actually come to a physical location to kind of do everything and finalize it. Now, if you want to do it because you're celebrating it, that's awesome, but you don't have to do it to close the transaction anymore. And so, for us, we wanted to challenge the norms of commercial. We didn't want to be beholden to the way it's always been done. And as a result, eXp Commercial is now, I don't know what the size is, but I know it's getting up there. Where are we at ranked in the order of commercial firms around the US?
Glenn, we are the fastest growing commercial, and with your help, and basically on the platform of success built on realty, we are really expanding now to services, exploring Canada, and other countries because of the fast growth and because of COVID lockdowns, like you said. People are not going back to the office. They know they can work remotely. Those that were successful commercial agents and teams said, you know what, I don't have to be in the office. I was doing quite well not being in the office. And those that are now seeing the interest rates where, deals are tougher and tighter, to keep more of your money. So we are expanding now, I would say top 10. We're looking at our rankings where we end up for the end of this year to submit to get qualified for some of these successes. But Glenn, we built off of the backbone of all the success you put together. And that's what, exploring and looking at all the commercial companies, I said, eXp is the place with great fertile ground, with awesome leadership, grounded leadership, is to where we should grow commercial. And I think the proof is in the pudding.
You're absolutely right. And here's, and I'm saying this because I think there's probably a number of people who are in commercial at other firms. Let me give you just a really great example of how powerful a remote first brokerage model is. eXp Realty, you know that we don't have offices that we provide for agents. However, most people would go, well, you've got to have an office for corporate, right? We have no corporate office. Since 2009, we've built the fastest growing residential real estate brokerage, now the fastest growing commercial real estate brokerage, without having any physical offices. Our entire staff works 100% from wherever it is that they want to work from. So, we have staff that literally is traveling the country in, their motorhomes and in their camping gear, because that's what they enjoy doing. But they show up every day and they're working on the business like everybody else. We've got others that I live fairly remote. I don't live in New York City or LA or even Seattle. I live 2 hours north of Seattle, in a town called Bellingham, Washington. Yet I can be connected to some of the most powerful players in the world, as you can too, because of technology. And so when you leverage that, you can actually create a different financial model for agents. And of course, some of the things, and Jim may touch on it, but we've really taken a page out of the eXp Realty book and applied it to eXp Commercial, and said, when do commercial agents truly own a business without going through the brain damage of starting a business? And they normally don't. I mean, they're great commissions, by the way. If you're a good agent and you're putting together big deals and you're generating great commissions, and you probably have a business head to begin with because you're working in commercial, so numbers, you're probably doing investing on the side, you're doing all of those good things. But with eXp, you get another stream of income and equity by doing what you do already, just in the business, without having to go and sort of figure out, okay, I've got to now context switch and go, okay, I've got this money, I need to invest it because I need to build some residuals, so I'm no longer stuck on the hamster wheel, just listing and selling commercial real estate.
You know, and Glenn, what I love so much, you know, with every time I hear you speak is about agent centric, you know, giving so much value to the agent. You literally flipped the realty world on its head, and definitely taking the page from your chapter. We're doing that with commercial, but you know, the agent centric model is so unique, especially in commercial. I mean, how did you and when did you come up with the concept? And it definitely has worked in realty, and I know it's catching on in commercial.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of agents that said, "Hey, when do we do commercial?" And I said, "Well, when we've got commercial leadership." Because not that I'm not a good business person, obviously I am, but I'm smart enough to know that a residential real estate agent and agent team is not the right team to run a commercial operation. And so we didn't launch commercial. And maybe you should share some of your background. I mean, you have a phenomenal background and history at top level of commercial real estate, and we were looking for a leader who got it, and you got it, and as a result, now we've got commercial.
Well, Glenn, thank you. I'll just say, you know, it was finding the right place to grow with the right team, which is always important. You got to be with the right team and the right platform. But having me serve in finance in Wall Street, fell into commercial real estate, doing private equity, and then working at some of the top shops, growing my own firm to one of the biggest. And I understand the 2009, which commercial took the big downturn. So I went through that and still kept our company going back in the day. And then granted, I ran a franchise company with a national franchise brand before eXp, and I explored and saw every model, Glenn. And when this opportunity, because I said no to everyone, but when I saw this interview and talking to you and the team, I said, I have to do this. And I think so many more commercial agents are seeing the vision and the power and the platform of eXp and really growing globally now. I mean, that's the exciting part of this one big company that we have.
Oh, it is. Yeah. And it's, we're changing the game. I think there's players who have already recognized that we're becoming a player. Some are playing, a little strong arm tactics with us, and others are embracing us. And so some are betting on us, and some are trying to stop us from growing. And that means that we're doing the right stuff. And so we cobble together, in some cases, the technology stack that's unique in the industry, because in some cases we're forced to, but at the end of the day, we know that we go out 3, 5, 10 years. In my mind, unless somebody comes up with a model that's better than ours, which I don't know how you do that, but that's the job of an entrepreneur, right? But until somebody comes up with a model that's better than ours, I think we will become the dominant commercial real estate firm in the United States in the next 10 years. In 10 years, it will be, who's your agent at eXp Commercial? And then well, they're not eXp Commercial. Why not? They're the best firm, in the business, and that'll be kind of the ongoing sort of conversation between tenants and landlords and commercial owners and office building owners and complexes and all the other stuff that goes along with it, because we're putting together the entire tool set to basically dominate the industry.
Exactly right, Glenn. And that's the thing. We have the right platform, leadership, and teammates, because many people now are looking how to be more efficient. And I know, with the technology background and learning, thinking like a tech, like a developer, like a programmer, really embrace it, because we all know people use tech. They don't embrace tech, right? There's a difference. And the right leadership, being lean and mean, but also, pivoting. And you pivoted as you grew, not just eXp Realty, but the entire enterprise of the entire company. Can you kind of share with everyone, because the power of our company is working as one big team, and so many platforms from Verbella, Success, with Realty, Commercial, Global, Luxury. I mean, all of us working as one. This is unheard of. I'll just tell you, everyone's siloed, but here working as one, it is so unheard of with all these different businesses you set up.
Yeah, there's yet businesses and partnerships yet to be created, and there's going to be some amazing ones that we're going to be able to put together. But when we look at the companies that we have, eXp Realty, the residential firm, of course, we've got 86,000 or maybe 85 or 86,000 agents worldwide, 24 countries, I think, that we operate in. And in order to do that, we need to figure out, how do you build something without physical bricks and mortar offices, and how do you build collaboration and community? And so we were the first company, well, not the first, but we're the single largest company, maybe the only large company using a metaverse as our office. And we've been doing that since 2009. Now, when we started in 2009, we were 25 people. So it's not like it was hard to do it. But we've got, all, 86,000, agents, and then 22,000 plus staff, all working in this metaverse type environment. And so we have the single most commercially ready metaverse for business that exists today in the marketplace. And that's because we built it for ourselves. We offered it out during the pandemic, especially, to other companies. And there are some other companies that have definitely embraced it. And PwC is a big partner on the Virbela side, and Deloitte's got some stuff with it, and some different consulting companies in Stanford and others. So that was, how do we build collaboration community? The other thing is every one of you, as you know, are in the sales business. And sales is fundamentally an extension of self-education and self-improvement. And what was formative for me was, learning the scripts and dialogues, learning how to handle objections, learning how to think like a champion, learning how to overcome adversity. And we bought just a little over 2 years ago, Success Magazine, because we were actually mailing that magazine to all of our agents and brokers, because we believe personal development is core to being a successful real estate agent. If you work on your job, you'll do okay, but if you work on yourself, you'll make a fortune. And so the idea is that we want to encourage people to work on themselves, become better people, because they will be more effective in anything they do, not just their real estate business. We've also bought some other companies. We bought one technology company to build a national real estate site for eXp Realty, Showcase IDX. We bought Zoocasa up in Canada to become a national portal in Canada and eventually in the US. And then we're all adding things into the mix also on the commercial side. Most of that was on the residential side because it's the big behemoth. But we just continue to invest to create both a moat for the business. So once you're with eXp, you're going to go, wow, we've got these exclusive products and services you can't get anywhere else. But also because it's the right thing to do to help agents compete out in the marketplace and to be effective. So those are the types of investments we make, and we will continue to do that. And it works.
Glenn, thank you. And one of the things I was just seeing, the referrals, right? The connections that people are making. It is amazing. Sometimes I always tell people, with how large we are and the connectivity, there are so much referrals. It's really just plugging in sometimes and getting involved, and you will mine gold. I mean, it is just a treasure trove with our company.
We have some really, really cool things coming down the pipe. I just saw a demo yesterday. I'm not going to talk about what that demo was, but it will literally, once we pass this technology over to the commercial side, it will literally be almost like a game over. And I mean that with all sincerity, because at the end of the day, you've got to get the listing. You've got to represent the property owner, the building, the whatever that is. Your commercial complex. So first part's representation, and of course the standard thing, and this happens in residential as well, but it's like most agents are get the listing, put it into what LoopNet or whatever, right? That's and then pray it sells, right? That's kind of the standard of operating, right? And it's a terrible standard, because it's like it's sort of saying that that's the end all be all, and which is great for what's the company that owns that,
CoStar.
CoStar. That's great for CoStar, right? But it's not great for you as an agent or as an industry. It means basically we're beholden to CoStar. But we've got something coming down the pipe that literally is going to change the game relative to marketing of properties and listings. That's going to, in my mind, level the playing field between big portal, and of course in residential we got Zillow and Realtor.com. Level the playing field between big portal and real estate professional, and I'm pretty excited about what that's going to be. And hopefully we can get it into the commercial space in the next probably less than 3 months.
Glenn, that's what I always loved. You're always innovating, you're always thinking, you're always evolving. We're always collaborating with so many good leaders inside and even outside, right? It's that learning process. But I know one of your big initiative is health is wealth. And I love that. Having our company, and just to let people know, we have group healthcare here. But Glenn, you've gone even beyond that on healthcare and health.
I have, so, and I go and I speak to commercial because somewhat aspirationally for some of you out there, because you haven't made it yet. But for many of you, you're doing really, really well in commercial. You're making a lot of money. You've figured this game out. You've got great clientele. You've got a roster of core clients, and you've done a great job. And one of the things that can be addicting is chasing the money, chasing the opportunity down. And I went through this myself, as every successful entrepreneur does. They a lot of times will sacrifice their health to go for their wealth. And I talked at an event yesterday in Miami. I flew back across the country last night, but I talked about it yesterday, and I truly mean this. Again, this is for anyone. This is not just eXp commercial agents, but there's some of you out there that should make a little less by choice and focus more on improving your health, because you've already figured out how to make whatever it is, a few $100,000 a year, $1 million a year, $2 million a year, maybe more. And you're trying to do more deals. You're trying to be at the top of the leaderboard. And in that you're shaving off quality years of your life because you're not looking after your health. So I went through this. 2019, I was 225 pounds. I'm about 185 right now, 187-ish. So I'm down 40 pounds since then. But I was having some heart issues. It turns out it was I finally figured out what the cause was, a hiatal hernia, that I'm now figured out what the thing was. And I've had that my entire life. I didn't realize all the complications, but it was mimicking heart issues and mimicking other issues. And finally, I was getting my runs in. I was getting my health dialed in. I got on Biome, which is, and you can, by the way, you can check all this stuff out at successhealth.com. So we formed affiliate relationship with Biome. It's great program. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff in there as well. But I started to do my biological age and figure things out. And my biological age has actually literally come from 56 to 48. So biologically, the way my body now operates is more like a 48-year-old, and probably even less than that today, because I did that test back in September, and I've continued to sort of be on this path. But the idea is make a shift to health. Hopefully you can see I've got tons of energy. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because I got in really late, but I've got tons of energy. And I'm actually at my peak health-wise in like 25 years. And so the idea is, if you work on your health, you'll actually create more wealth. But if you don't take time to actually work on your health. So we did something a few years ago, I think it was 2018 or 19, we created the first independent contractor health platform in the country. We partnered with a company called Clearwater Benefits, and we actually created insurance-like benefits for real estate agents at substantial discounts to the marketplace. So, normally you'd have to go to the marketplace, you have to spend these, fairly expensive fees, there's open enrollment periods, all that stuff. We actually have, through our health cooperative, the ability to get great coverage. And if they don't have great coverage, they'll literally refer you to who's got good insurance that would cover whatever it is that you're looking to do. But for the most part, if you're in that kind of core real estate sales age, you should be able to get some coverage through Clearwater Benefits. And we did that, and we've countless stories of agents who didn't have health coverage that got things covered and had lots of success stories. The next thing, of course, was we said, okay, we've got that covered. Now, how do we get more proactive? And that's where Success Health comes in, and working on that. I've got my Oura ring, got my Apple Watch. I'm closing my rings. I'm doing my internals. I'm doing my tracking stuff. And for us, I think that's a really big deal for agents, because it doesn't make any sense to teach you how to make a whole bunch of money, and then at the end of the day, have you drop off the planet because you didn't look after your health.
Glenn, and that's the long game. And I had to learn the hard way the last cycle, how much damage I did to myself. I think, the drinking and other things, I do the intermittent fasting. I think we talked about that too. And everything, I'm just watching you, and your energy and the enthusiasm and the attitude, is fantastic to grow this way, right? And this is what, if we want to survive longer, be around longer, to enjoy the money, the impact that we're doing, to give back and help others, it is so important. So, Glenn, with final words, what can you tell and advice for 2023 for everyone listening out there?
Well, the advice is really simple. The macro market is under pressure. You'd have to live under a rock not to know that the Fed raising interest rates is impacting everything. So the real advice is you are not the macro market. Now, the macro market is you aggregate all the agents that are in the industry, and as an industry, they're going to do less transactions, sales volumes way down, other challenges will take place in that. But you as an individual, strategically, you sit down and go, okay, I have this thing called a commercial, I've got a real estate license and I'm working on commercial. You strategically should be able to leverage that in a way that gives you an unfair advantage in the marketplace. And that takes time and planning and structure and actually having the conversations and putting the right people in the room. But one of the cool things about commercial is fundamentally about putting the right people in the room to create new products and services for your clients. And if you do that, you can have the best year you've ever had, and you can set yourself up to have the best decade you ever imagined. So take some time at the beginning of the year, figure out strategically how you can put together relationships that can give you an unfair advantage. If all you're doing is knocking on doors and asking, hey, are you looking to list your property or sell or what have you, or whatever those conversations are, then you might do okay. You can hustle your way to doing a good business. But if you figure out a way to create true partnerships with your clients, it can change the game. So just think about, what are the partnerships that you're putting together that can give you an unfair advantage? And it may be where you're at in your career, you need to work on you first, so that you can then have the strategic conversations. Go read the business books, get around some mentors, get around people who've done, put together big deals, see how they've done it. Hopefully they invite you to lunch while they're negotiating a deal. See how those conversations take place, because inside of those conversations ultimately is a strategic way of thinking that, in my mind, represents a professional commercial agent.
Glenn, thank you so much for taking this time and sharing the wisdom, the journey, but that always positive attitude and giving back, because I know, you've learned a lot, you've traveled a lot, you've seen a lot, constantly learning, but you're always taking time to help out, like building homes and so many things. So Glenn, thank you so much for sharing this time with all of us. And if you're interested, we put a QR code on the side, please scan it. And we look forward to a great, let's stay positive, 2023, and reach out and connect with us. Thank you so much from eXp Commercial and eXp World Holdings. Thank you, Glenn, so much for your time and your wisdom.